Bosses America for having weekends. Where the haters at? Y'all bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. It's lullaby music, bro.
This is Wales Only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done. Boom. Oh, it's about to get funky. Funkier than you could have ever imagined. You know, Richard Hart is a boss. Hex is literally the best thing on the planet. It's simple mathematics, right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The Godwell told you, Richard done told you, I done told you, Kareem done told you, Maddie done told you, everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Yash deep, everybody. My God. Ex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. Hey, happy Tuesday to you all. Hope everybody's doing great today. Things are turning up a little bit everywhere, in different ways. It's kind of like I always told you guys, I could stream every day, all day, and that is not a lie. So right now, apparently, I don't know if this is true or false because it started yesterday. I don't have any close ties to the country. You know, I'm gonna try to find out tomorrow, actually, because I know somebody that does. So apparently, Ecuador is going through a coup of some sort, but it doesn't seem like a coup. It seems like I mean, this is just what it seems like because all we have are some clips. I don't even want to play them yet. I really want to get a good handle on what the hell's going on out there. But apparently, cartels are taking over. But you know, that's typically three-letter boy shit. So I'm trying to discern exactly what's going on before I even report on any of that craziness. Apparently, Switzerland or Swedish citizens have been told to gear up for war. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but that is the latest from an independent journalist out of Sweden, who is Swedish. So the guy should know what he's talking about. So far, he's been pretty spot on with the information that he reports, so I would consider him a valid source. Let's see what else is going on. SEC got hacked today. I'm sure everybody saw their Twitter was hacked. Now, their Twitter was hacked. Now, you explain to me how that's supposed to work exactly. How is a agency supposed to secure anything when they can't even secure their Twitter account? I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. You know, I just don't have any words for that. It's pretty astounding, really. Hopefully they get it together. Um, Not really sure what else to say to that. I mean, it's just wild. It's just wild. So whatever. That's just kind of the things that are going on um, today. So far, um, and that's just what I'm aware of. Right? There's tons of stuff I'm not going to be aware of. So we shall see how that goes. Right? Because we still don't really know what's happening in Ecuador, for example, what's true about Sweden, because this is all brand new information. You understand? So I'm just being made privy to this type of stuff that I'm reporting to you guys like today. I usually don't even play videos that are recent. I usually like play videos that are a little old. So anyways, let me line these videos up. And I'm gonna go with today's videos instead of um, day old videos, just because today is like crazy. It's like a whole lot going on today. So oof, that hex chart looking crazy. Guess them Furu should have shut the hell up when they had the chance. Oh well, too late. Everybody knows they're retarded now. So good luck to them. They were given a heads up. So whatever. We try to provide valid information that helps people not make stupid decisions. But, some people just like making stupid decisions on repeat. I know because I used to be one of those people. So, sometimes it takes a little while to learn. But eventually you get there if you want to. So, good luck or not. Give me a second here. I just want to line up all the videos. um, so we're not inconvenienced with my clicking around. um, yeah, we got some good ones today. And so, on a housekeeping note, I've been getting a lot of copyright strikes lately. And I know it's due to the videos that I'm playing and the fact that I probably don't listen to them all, and I definitely don't do a good job of um, thinking, does this have a copyright strike? So I'm gonna try to work on that. So will this give me a copyright strike? I mean, so I stop having those pain in the ass issues. Um, Man, so much good stuff. All right, uh, let me get these next few lined up, and we'll get it going. It's just, wow. Today's stream is going to be very informative. And look, for anybody that doesn't understand why I'm doing this, is because I get this question often. And it's a fair question. It's a fair question. Why am I doing these streams? And the reason why is because, everybody in this community already understands crypto, to a certain degree. If not, step that up. Oh, you know what I'm going to start with first? I know what I'm going to start with first. I'm going to start with Richard's tweet first. Just because it's topical and relevant to the overall conversation. And to point out something I said, I don't even know how long ago at this point, maybe 6 months ago. And I mean, again, people have their own issues and they act a certain way based on what other people are doing and whatever. Like that's your problem. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't give a fuck. And this first paragraph in this letter written by this lawyer that the smartest guy in the world hired should let you know that I'm up on there and I understand what the hell is going on and what I'm talking about. So anybody that keeps playing themselves with opinion and not actually reading, right? Because it's not even my opinion that I'm going off of. I'm going off of the facts. I mean, I literally was raised being in the beast. I skirted it a little bit to go work in the beast elsewhere. Now I'm going back into the beast and trying to go into the beast as much as possible now because I understand what I have to do. But everybody else is out here pretending. Be wary of those that think they are owed something by anybody. Nobody owns anybody anything in this world. Period. The only motherfuckers that owe you anything already gave it to you. And that was your parents and that was life. So you already got that. You good. The rest is yo, they kicked me out of my own stream. Uh where did you guys last hear me talking about? 1845, right? It wasn't that long. It wasn't that long apparently. Maybe like 60 seconds. um anyway, we'll just get into it, guys. You know, this is the breaks, you know. Um on the internet it's very easy to play pretend, and that's why so many people got the death jab and they're on their way out the door because they didn't want to read. There's no ego here. It's really that simple. If you don't want to read, you're going to suffer the consequences of that inaction. There's no two ways about it. That is how it goes. And people are going to, I mean, it's going to cost certain people their life to learn that lesson that their parents should have taught them. And it's wild because it shouldn't take all that. But that's where we are in 2023. Or, excuse me, 24. All right. So I'll read Richard's tweet and we'll get to it. Richard's tweet goes, I am fighting the SEC for your rights. 11 of my lawyers filed this today. Ironically, today, the SEC's Twitter account was hacked and a fraudulent message was posted. The blockchain literally solves exactly this problem. The SEC is attacking the very tech it needs. Cryptographically verifiable authentication, proof, and publication. Blockchains are the first and only immutable public ledger communications technology. Open source peer-to-peer software. Millions of people use blockchains to publish pictures, text, messages, literature, and more every day. Technology is the future. We pray to the courts to defend the Constitution and your rights. Now, I don't pray to the courts, and I hope you don't either. But we pray that the motherfuckers get their minds right so we don't gotta do nothing crazy. That's what we pray. We really don't pray nothing else. I mean, I shouldn't have to be doing what I'm doing, but here we are. Now let's read this first paragraph. And it starts date, letter format, right? Pretty straightforward. Honorable judge, yada yada, dear judge, blah blah blah. We represent defendant, you already know, names go by blah blah blah, and submit this letter pursuant to Rule 3A of the court's individual motion practices and rules to respectfully request a pre-motion conference and to provide a summary of the basis of Mr. Hart's anticipated motion to dismiss the SEC's complaint. Now, if you've been listening to me for any modicum of time, going back 6 months or further, you already knew this was the move. So we can keep it moving. Because we're not going to waste time today talking about old news. And we're going to start with this video. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Somebody finally found.
Can you guys hear it? Let's do it.
Holy shit, somebody finally found the confiscated video that the FBI took on the day of 9/11, where it was proving it wasn't a plane, it was a Scud missile. There was talk amongst the community, because I've been awake for 20 years since this happened, that there was a Scud missile. The witnesses were silenced. The person who had this tape that turned it over to the FBI concealed this information. And as you can see, that is not a plane. That is a Scud missile as originally thought. Fucking deep state cabal, you sons of bitches. Those who knew, we already knew you did shit. But this was the last piece of the puzzle for the evidence. For that whole entire crap with the 9/11 report that said it disintegrated. That is a Scud missile. Swedish satellite saw that there was a marking target, and that was completely put aside, and you all bought the lie. Heavenly Father, let truth prevail.
Yep, it's coming out. It's all coming out right on time. That's what I'll say to that. All right, you want to close there, buddy? I haven't watched this. So if this gets a little... Okay, yeah, these dudes got like blazing shit in there. So I'm not going to play this.
Señor Daniel Noboa, presidente constitucional del Ecuador.
Too long,
Señor
anyway.
Luis Sandumbide, director general del SNAI, de nuestra consideración.
So these people are hostages and they're reading a letter written by the supposed cartel members. So it's basically, a extortion letter.
Le extendemos un saludo cordial y sobre todo clamamos a usted, por favor, señor presidente, recapacite en cada una de sus decisiones y no se deje manejar con impulsos o falsas expectativas. El país y todos los seres humanos que lo conformamos necesitamos de decisiones fuertes, claras, concisas, pero sobre todo acertadas. Somos funcionarios, agentes de seguridad penitenciaria o la carne del cañón, como quieran llamarlo, acertadas. Somos funcionarios, agentes de seguridad penitenciaria o la carne del cañón, como quieran llamarnos.
Apparently they're mercenaries. I'm not sure how true that is because they're not really dressed like they're mercenaries. And what I mean by that is that they're just too ragtag. Like even if they were mercenaries, they would just be dressed a little differently. So I'm not buying that one.
Estamos ahora mismo rogando que su accionar sea más cauto Y por favor, vele por nuestras vidas y por nuestra seguridad. Somos padres de familia, cabeza de hogar. En muchos casos, que entendemos su accionar, pero reprochamos que no.
All right, well, you guys see what's going on in Ecuador. I'm not really buying it like that, but I've seen some videos that are pretty compelling in regards to the violence. I don't know, man, because, Hollywood. So here's a glimpse of what the public missed when Fauci testified behind closed doors yesterday. The same answers he gave in his deposition. In this deposition, excuse me. Enjoy this.
I have no recollection. I'm sorry, would you repeat the question? What's the question again? I'm not sure. I think I don't recall anything from that phone call. I don't recall I may have, but I don't recall. I don't specifically remember.
Do you recall that?
I don't recall. I don't recall this. If you show me this now and ask me the question, do you recall this? I'd have to say I don't recall. I don't recall. It's possible, but I don't recall. I'm not sure. Not specifically that I can recall. Again, it's not something that rings a bell with me that I would remember. I don't recall ever, not to my knowledge. I don't know if they did. I don't recall specifically.
Oh my God.
I don't recall. It may have occurred, but I don't recall. I don't recall him saying that. I don't specifically recall. I don't recall. But I don't recall. I have no.
So that's a whole work shift where a motherfucker doesn't recall. Now, you out there watching this stream right now as regular people know damn well you can't get away with not recalling a motherfucking thing for 8 hours to no pigs like this man just did. Let's watch what's next. You guys are going to love this. Don't forget what's coming because they're going to try to push it again.
To the topic today is the issue of pandemic preparedness. And if there's one message that I want to leave with you today, based on my experience, and you'll see that in a moment, is that there is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, but also there will be a surprise outbreak.
I don't know how many times I can say it, Madam Chair. We did not fund gain-of-function research to be conducted in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Anyway, so let me just go on about NIH lifts funding pause on gain-of-function research that might be anticipated to create, transfer, or use enhanced potential pandemic pathogens. I don't think this is going to be foolproof. Things are going to slip through.
If it may have been a lab, may have been nature, we're supposed to look forward, then why did Dr. Fauci work so hard for just one of those theories?
I'm almost have to laugh at that, Neil. I mean, that's totally bizarre. First of all, I wasn't leaning totally strongly one way or the other. I've always kept an open mind.
As you know, there's a sort of urban legend that there's a biological warfare center in Wuhan and that the coronavirus escaped from that. Did you have any sense of where it probably came from?
I think ultimately we know that these things come from an animal reservoir. I've heard these conspiracy theories, and like all conspiracy theories, Newt, they're just conspiracy theories.
I wasn't leaning totally strongly one way or the other. I've always kept an open mind. Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. Should you be wearing 2 masks or 1 mask? I often myself wear 2 masks. Can we make a general recommendation that doesn't have scientific basis yet? No. Please wear a mask. The chances of my getting infected in an indoor setting is extremely low. And that's the reason why in indoor settings now, I feel comfortable about not wearing a mask because I'm fully vaccinated. When you're in a congregate indoor setting, wear a mask. First of all, I didn't recommend locking anything down. I went with Dr. Birx into the president and said, 15 days are not enough. We need to go 30 days. Obviously, there were people who had a problem with that because of the potential secondary effects. Nonetheless, at that time, the president went with the health recommendations, and we extended it another 30 days. First of all, I didn't recommend locking anything down. So the worst possible thing you could do is vaccinate somebody to prevent infection and actually make them worse. This would not be the first time, if it happened, that a vaccine that looked good in initial safety actually made people worse. Well, the latter part of what you just said is untrue. You don't get worse results from vaccinating.
She really has the flu. She definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine.
The optimal degree of protection when you get infection is to get vaccinated after infection.
Because the best vaccination is to get infected yourself.
The optimal degree of protection when you get infection is to get vaccinated after infection.
She really has the flu. She definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine.
So if you're saying, are we out of the pandemic phase in this country? We are.
Is this country ready for another pandemic? And are we still in the one we have not, that we've been talking about?
Well, we certainly are still in it. The safety of these vaccines have been clearly established. The long-term effects that the people are apparently concerned about really have I'm sure there is a very, 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 very rare exception, but the long-term effects are really essentially non-existent.
Do we have any data about, vaccines and the back end of that, or the negative side of that? There's been a number of studies. New York Times just did one about menstruating cycles and how that is affected by vaccines.
Yeah, the menstrual thing is something that seems to be quite transient and temporary. That's the point. That's one of the points. We need to study it more. We need to study it. Because the other side that just keeps putting out misinformation and disinformation seems to be tireless in that effort.
An article in the San Francisco Examiner, I think, the Sunday magazine section, which was just phenomenal. I still have a picture of it. It says, I call you murderer, an open letter to an incompetent idiot, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of NIAID.
Seems pretty accurate.
To the
What say you? Who would not want free energy for the masses? And look, I don't think I need to talk much on that video. I think he said everything he needed to say.
Some more on here. So here's a fun one to look into. The Manual of Free Energy Devices and Systems, Volume 2 by D.A. Kelly. Shows all these different devices utilizing free energy, static fields, even Victor Schauberger's flying saucer. The whole UFO thing, Victor Schauberger. And then you got stuff with Tesla in here, just absolutely remarkable information. These are Tesla's patents connecting into a ground and a circuit using an antenna to harness the static fields. Goes a little bit more into here, the Hubbard coil, very interesting one. And then this is a real one, Nikola Tesla coils, very cool stuff. Primary coils. I mean, this book is just filled with stuff. This is how you originally made a solar panel back in the day. Now they use esoteric practices. Goes into more on here. Got all different types of diagrams and designs, but just so much information. So here's a fun one to look into. The Manual of Free Energy Devices and Systems.
Can collect about.
I bet he's excited by that notion. And imagine, who the hell has so much money to just throw at this as if it's a real problem? I mean, that's something you got to think about, guys. This is why you have to be aware of what's going on, and there is no excuses. Like, they are ready to put you in a chokehold and say, go fuck yourself. So good luck.
Right. Watch what happens when I plug it in. It becomes a transmitter for electric. Right, and look how far it transmits, look. So if you're laying in bed with that next to your head, that is all going into your head.
What is it, signals?
That's electric.
Electric.
Come off there, yeah. And if you're on the phone.
Yeah, that was it.
That's fine in there. Watch what happens when I pick my phone up when it's charging. So that is going right into your body now. All that electric is not just going into the phone. It's going around the phone charger.
Things to know, folks. Things to know. Important things to know. Check this out. This is from 2015. I remember watching this.
I would like to make some betting with you. When we meet for the 20th, I hope I will have the pleasure still to be invited for the meeting. When we meet for the 20th Governance Summit, you will use the app like Uber, but not anymore to call some driver, but automatically guided car, a self-driven car, will come to your hotel or wherever you are and will bring you to the airport. Actually, I had a discussion some months ago with the mayor of Los Angeles, and you know Los Angeles is one of the cities with the heaviest traffic, who told me in 2030, Los Angeles will be private car-driven free. And this will allow to transform highways into parks and other public spheres.
Think about that, folks. They got plans for you, and you're not even paying attention. Bill Cooper out in George W.
Ruling powers decided that one means of funding the Alien Connected and other black projects was to corner the illegal drug market. A young, ambitious member of the Council on Foreign Relations was approached. His name is George Bush, who at the time was the president and CEO of Zapata Oil based in Texas. Zapata Oil was experimenting with the new technology of offshore drilling. It was correctly thought that the drugs could be shipped from South America to the offshore platforms by fishing boat, where it would then be taken to shore by the normal transportation used for supplies and personnel. By this method, no customs or law enforcement agency would subject the cargo to search. George Bush agreed to help and organize the operation in conjunction with the CIA. The plan worked better than anyone had thought and has since expanded worldwide, and there are now many other methods of bringing the illegal drugs into the country. But it must always be remembered that George Bush began the sale of drugs to our children. Now, if you think I'm crazy, get off your butt and start digging, because you will find out that it's absolutely true.
How about them apples? All verifiable. So this is the reason Americans feel better after eating abroad. If you've been out of the U.S. before and you've eaten food, which is more than likely what happens when you, well, point is you feel amazing. And the reason is because you're not eating poison. You're eating actual food once you leave the U.S. I've talked about this numerous times before, and here's another person talking about it. Check it out.
So you think you're getting a French fry. When you go to the U.S., almost all restaurants are buying from one single company called Sysco Foods, and they buy pretty much the same stuff. So you go to all these restaurants that have different flavors, but they're all selling you the same things. The U.S. has allowed a huge number of artificial flavors, artificial colorings, and other compounds in foods that are illegal in Europe. So you think you're getting a French fry in the US, but it doesn't have the same ingredients, even say from McDonald's. The list of ingredients is entirely different. In Europe, it's going to have some kind of oil that's probably not good for you, and it's going to have some salt and some potatoes. And in the US, there's a huge long list of things, and they do that to drive costs down or to make it more addictive. So the reason is you think you're eating the same food, but you're not. There's a lot more chemicals in American food. On top of that, well, you are surrounded by pesticides and herbicides at much higher levels. The water quality in the US is lower. And what's going on there is you're not actually putting on a pound of fat. You're putting on a pound of inflammation. It's hard to put a pound of fat on in 1 week. You can do it, but it's really hard. So what's going on there is your cells, instead of turning that air and food into electricity and heat, they were turning it into inflammation. And then as soon as you came back here and you cleared the toxins, then you felt better.
There you go. And I took care of those copyrights, bud. So maybe refresh whatever link you got open there. Or go back because they're visible. All right, now check this out. I found this very, very interesting that Fox even talked about this like this at all. Like, wow. Check it out.
I mean, it's just extraordinary to me that, the government was working with social media to amplify lies and suppress truth and has been doing so repeatedly. Why couldn't the American people know that, there were other alternatives to treat COVID? Why can't the American people know that there were side effects with the vaccine?
This is all pre-planned by an elite group of people. That's what I'm talking about. Event 201 that occurred in late 2019, prior to the rest of us knowing about this pandemic. Again, this is very concerning in terms of what has happened, what is happening, what continues to be planned for our loss of freedom. Again, it needs to be exposed, but unfortunately, there are very few people, even in Congress, that are willing to take a look at this. They all push the vaccine. They don't want to, be made aware of the fact that the vaccines might have caused injuries, might have caused death. So many people just simply don't want to admit they were wrong, and they're going to do everything they can to make sure that they're not proven wrong. We're up against a very powerful group of people here, Maria. But fortunately, you say, what can we do? Well, we do have reporters like yourself, like John Solomon, other people that have the courage to report the truth against the mainstream media and against the narrative. But that's the only way this is going to be solved, is we need the truth to be exposed. We need more Americans to listen to the truth, to be exposed to the truth, to pull their heads out of the sand, quite honestly, open up their eyes and understand what is happening in this country. We are going down a very dangerous path, but it's a path that is being laid out and planned by an elite group of people that want to take total control over our lives. And that's what they're doing bit by bit. They do it by increasing massive government spending, increasing the size of government, takeover of the WHO. These amendments that are coming up that are going to be voted on in 2024 on the WHO are frightening, and they really risk taking away all of our sovereignty. People have to awaken to the dangers of the moment.
Interesting stuff from Fox. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. Maybe they want to gaslight people that watch that stuff. I don't know, but it's crazy. So I don't know if you heard, but last night in Hasidic Jewland in New York and Brooklyn, by the Marcy Projects, basically, this tunnel was discovered. Now it's like across the street from a school, next to a bank, and all this crazy shit. So there's no real telling what's up with this tunnel, but check it out. Now, as you guys can see, this is well constructed. Baby seat, baby chair right there. Oh yeah. Look at that eating tray. Yep. Portal or hole. Wow. Very clean tunnel. Well, there you have it, folks. That's what they're getting away with. How about you?
So, here is the hole. But if you actually take a look down inside, there are stairs down there.
looks like these stairs used to go up further. If that makes sense. What I find really weird is that all the lights, these lights are on. So that tells me that there's still something active here. And it just looks like someone's gone up but got caught and buried. I don't want to talk too much, just I can't anticipate if anyone's going to be around here. I don't hear anyone, but the lights are on and I have no clue what's stepping in. When I was here on Wednesday, this I think was about as far as I got. I haven't gone any further than this. I sort of chickened out and ran back up to go home and get some more space to record my phone since I was really late. I'm not even sure what to say. Sonnet that grows. I feel like one of these is going to be a hallway or a room or something. Because what else? What is the purpose of these things?
Crazy. Crazy what's out there and you just don't know. Put that one up twice. Now check this out. I've told people before, like, all these people, they'll be not the same person. Like Joe Biden is not Joe Biden. And people just don't pay attention to that for whatever reason. I don't know why. But should be obvious. And this video is gonna make it a little more obvious if you haven't noticed before. So let's check it out.
It makes sense that no great nation can be in a position where they can't control their borders.
Now that's Joe Biden, 2008. Not what the dude looks like today. Carry on.
It matters how you control your borders, not just for immigration, but it matters for drugs, terror, a whole range of other things. So that's the first sort of truism. The second truism is that this nation is such that people in the country should have the first opportunity to be able to have jobs that pay well and have jobs that are decent, and that after that, the second crack goes to what we may need from other parts of the world or any other input. We have to. And I had been arguing for, when I'm back in my days as chairman of the Judiciary Committee and straight through as the leader of the Foreign Relations Committee, I've been arguing for the need to put more protection at our borders, meaning that you have more border guards. This president, refusing to add the number of border guards, now said he has to send the National Guard down. He vetoed. He was against adding the number of border guards. I only can suggest the reason he was is because he needed that money for his tax cuts that were unnecessary. I'm not being facetious. I'm being serious. Again, show me what you value. He had put a higher value on tax cuts for the wealthy than he did on protecting the border. And all of a sudden, the public responds, and now he says, now we got to send the National Guard down there that's already overstretched by God knows how much. You know the units going in and out of your own state, going to Iraq and Afghanistan. So I think what you have to do is you have to have a significant increase in the security at the border, including limited elements where you actually have a fence. Not a fence 3,000 miles like these folks are talking about, but you've got to, there are certain places people can go over and under a fence, but you can't take 100 kilos of cocaine over and under a fence. And what you do when you have limited places where fences are in populated areas, you force these drug dealers and others around, making it easier to apprehend because there's fewer places to come through. So I think the combination of virtual fencing, some fencing, additional border patrol is important. It's amazing how the free enterprise system and our conservative business friends talk about free enterprise and the right of competition and supply and demand. And yet there's one whole category of people they want to be allowed in on work permits that will take away jobs of Americans right now. We need seasonal agricultural workers, it makes sense, and we need special H-1B people where we don't have enough people to fill spots that are needed at the high end, the high tech end. I understand that. But I don't go for this idea of having the allowance of a significant increase, several 100,000 people a year, to take regular jobs, particularly in the construction industry. When you have another 300,000 people competing to hang drywall, figuratively speaking, or to carry bricks up a stairway up to the 15th story of a building, or to do a lot of other work in the construction area, guess what it allows the employer to do? Keep the wage lower. We have plenty of Americans that take those jobs. We don't have Americans who aren't willing to take those jobs. But the reason why the employers want this extra influx on a temporary basis, in my view, is it drives costs down. That's not fair to Americans. So you have to hold employers responsible in this measure here. Hold them responsible that they have to hire Americans first. Only if there's no Americans available for the job should we be promoting the idea of bringing in extra workers, in my view. 15 years from now, we're going to be saying, what are we going to do about the flow of illegals into the country of the United States of America? So they're the elements of the way I'd go about dealing with it. It's hard, it's difficult.
I think you guys get the point.
Susceptible to demagoguery.
Enough of his ass.
But the basic fact.
I mean, that's real. That's real.
We're talking about things like depression, manic depression, bipolar disease, and bipolar. Pain requires all 90 essential nutrients. Like all the other tissues in the body, it's inescapable. It needs all 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. If any one of those are missing, you get a disease. And we're talking about things like depression, manic depression, bipolar disease. And bipolar disease, when you're in a uniform, is called PTSD, same disease. And then there's ADD, ADHD, autism, there's psychoses, there's schizophrenia, anxiety attacks, panic attacks. These are all caused by nutritional deficiencies. Now, the big one is Alzheimer's disease. This is a physician-caused disease. Did not exist 45 years ago. Today, it's number 4 killer of adults over the age of 65, and it's caused by a deficiency of a single nutrient, cholesterol. Who told people to get on cholesterol-restricted diets? Medical doctors who wanted you to buy Crisco because they got paid $1.7 million by Procter & Gamble to endorse Crisco. Well, who told people to give up eggs and butter and cream and lard? Medical doctors. Who began to prescribe statin drugs to lower your cholesterol? Medical doctors. And then Alzheimer's appeared. Statin-lowering drugs slam your cholesterol down way too low, and this is the cause
Order
of Alzheimer's.
filled.
Pain requires all 90 essential nutrients. Like all the other tissues in the body, it's inescapable. It needs all 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. If any one of those are missing, you get a disease. And we're talking about things like depression, manic depression, bipolar disease. And bipolar disease, when you're in a uniform, is called PTSD, same disease. And then there's ADD, ADHD, autism, there's psychoses, there's schizophrenia, anxiety attacks, panic attacks. These are all caused by nutritional deficiencies. Now, the big one is Alzheimer's disease. This is a physician-caused disease. Did not exist 45 years ago. Today, it's number 4 killer of adults over the age of 65, and it's caused by a deficiency of a single nutrient, cholesterol. Who told people to get on cholesterol-restricted diets? Medical doctors who wanted you to buy Crisco because they got paid $1.7 million by Procter & Gamble to endorse Crisco. Well, who told people to give up eggs and butter and cream and lard? Medical doctors. Who began to prescribe statin drugs to lower your cholesterol? Medical doctors. And then Alzheimer's appeared. Statin-lowering drugs slam your cholesterol down way too low, and this is the cause of Alzheimer's disease. Pain requires all 90 essential nutrients. Like all the other tissues in the body, it's inescapable. It needs all 90.
Wow, sorry guys, I was talking to myself. Well, now you guys know what to do. Um, it seems like everything we've been taught is just dead wrong. And you got to really flip it on its head just for it to even be considerable. Jesus. All right.
Our food systems are harming the health of people and
All right. So let me read this so you guys know what's going on before you even watch it. So World Health Organization, as you guys know, that terrorist organization. And this is the head of it, and this guy's a terrorist, clearly. I don't know if you guys know his background, but you should look into it. Declares war on meat and traditional agriculture in the name of, guess what? Fighting climate change. That's right. Check it out.
our food systems are harming the health of people and planet.
All of a sudden, 1,000 years later, it's all fucked up. We were doing it wrong for 1,000 years.
Food systems contribute to over 30% of greenhouse gas emissions and account for almost 1/3 of the global burden of disease. Transforming food systems is therefore essential by shifting towards healthier, diversified, and more plant-based diets. If food systems delivered healthy diets for all, we could save 8 million lives per year. WHO is committed to supporting countries to develop and implement policies to improve diets and fight climate change. I'm therefore very pleased that over 130 countries have signed the COP28 UAE Declaration on Climate and Health. Together, we can protect and promote the health of both people and planet.
Now you know the countries that want to kill the people that live in those countries. Good luck. I mean, this shit is almost like Hunger Games out here. All right, let's read this. Key Club of Rome member Dennis Meadows hopes the necessary depopulation of the planet down to 1 billion and 87.5% reduction from where we are today can occur in a civil way. Let's hear what else he has to say.
In one way or another, we are so far, globally, we are so far above the population and the consumption levels which can be supported by this planet that I know in one way or another it's going to come back down. So I don't hope to avoid that. I hope that it can occur in a civil way, and I mean civil in a special way, peaceful. Peace doesn't mean that everybody's happy.
Order
but it
filled.
means
Order
that conflict
filled.
isn't
Order
solved
filled.
through violence, through force, but rather in other ways. And so that's what I hope for. That we can, I mean, the planet can support something like 1 billion people, maybe 2 billion, depending on how much liberty and how much material consumption you want to have. If you want more liberty and more consumption, you have to have fewer people. And conversely, you can have more people. I mean, we could even have
Order
8 or 9
filled.
billion probably if we have a very strong
Order filled.
dictatorship, which is smart. That's unfortunately, you never have smart dictatorships. They're always stupid. So, but if you had a smart dictatorship and a low standard of living, you can have it. But we want to have freedom and we want to have a high sentence. So we're going to have 1 billion people. And we're now at 7, so we have to get back down. I hope that this can be slow, relatively slow, and that it can be done in a way which is relatively equal, so that people share the experience and you don't have a few rich, trying to force everybody else to deal with it. So those are my hopes. I mean, these are pretty pessimistic hopes, but I mean, that's what lies ahead.
Well, I don't think I need to say much. He said it all. Oh shit! Did I kill my entire screen? All right, I think that's it, folks. We're done for the day. Yo, that was a crazy way to end it. That was a crazy way to end it. Oh, and so look, I figured out how to shut all those damn sounds off in the background. Sorry about that, y'all. But I'm over here doing my due. Because like I tell you guys, you know, I be trading on the side, so whatever. But as you guys can see, they're not shy about letting you know what's going on. They're not shy about letting you know what they intend to do. They're not shy at all. Just so you can understand. So, you know, be prepared. I don't know what's really going on in Ecuador, but to me, it's not positive. I hope it doesn't come to our shores because they use a dollar over there. So, good luck to us all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay aware, stay alert, stay alive. Peace. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep. Everybody.